A question I get all the time, whether it's through the emails or in this store, is how do I know if my Rolex watch or my expensive watch is real? Well, basically, the answer is it's very hard to tell, but I'm going to try to give you some information so that you understand what's going on in that end of the market. Back in the 20 years ago, basically you could get a Rolex or a fake Audemars or some kind of high-end watch, and you would buy these watches in Hong Kong or China for $10 an item. Those were basically what we called 10-yarders. You could tell they were fake from 10 yards away, but that's not the case anymore. Today, they have watches that they spend $200 to $300 just to make the watch because it's simulating a watch that's worth $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Those watches, without expert help like mine, are impossible to tell. So I always tell people, be very careful. And I'm going to go through some of the pitfalls that we have out there. So please remember, you have to mandatorily have that watch authenticated by someone like myself that's in the business. Through the years, we've seen so many different Rolex watches or fine watches that have been either parts watches put together or problematic. One of the things that happens often is with the modern technology, they've been able to laser engrave the serial numbers in and all the markings. They've been able to make the dials much more crisp. So basically, you can't tell just by looking at a watch anymore. You basically have to tear it apart. Another thing is you have to be very careful. A lot of watches are mixed matched. Sometimes they have a watch that's an older watch and they want to make it look newer. So they use real Rolex parts or real high-end watch parts. But these watches are not the same because they're like hybrid pieces put together and they don't belong together. So it's almost like buying an original automobile that doesn't have the right engine. It just isn't worth as much. Another thing is you have to be very careful. The Italians make a lot of copies in Italy of the gold watches. So you can actually have a solid gold Rolex watch or a solid gold Audemars Piguet, but it's actually an Italian copy. It doesn't say that it's Audemars, it does say Italy on it, so they're not trying to be fooling you. But sometimes some people like to maybe sell or not sell without telling you. Another thing is you have to be very careful. There's a lot of conversion models. What that means is sometimes they take a lower end Rolex or a lower end high-end watch because they have different variations. They'll take a $3,000 watch, try to make it look like a $15,000 or $20,000 watch. As you can see, there's so many pitfalls. I absolutely recommend that you take your Rolex watch to a professional, whether you're buying or selling, have them verify it. All right, it's been great. A lot of information, a lot of questions answered. Remember, this is all off the cuff. So if you have specific questions, please feel free to email us, text us, call us. Remember, include any pictures, dimensions. The more information you give us, the better we can do to get you information back. Keep in mind, it may take 24 to 48 hours to get it back to you, but we'll do the best we can. And of course, we want to buy the merchandise, but there's no charge for any of the information we give, and there's no expectations. So feel free with no pressure to get us any questions. Thank you very much.